Hey Flosstube friends, and welcome back to World on a String by Dara. I'm Dara. You can find me on Instagram as @ThaliaTree, or you can email me at the email here. It's the end of the day on Saturday, although I slept in a lot today because we've had a really busy week at work, so it doesn't quite feel like evening to me yet, even though it is. So, yeah, I hope you all had a fun Halloween if you celebrate Halloween. I know we had a great time. We didn't have as many trick-or-treaters, but we did get a few, and it was really cute to see everyone in their little costumes. We had a lot of very small children this year, so most years in the previous past we've had older kids, but there's a lot of like 2, 3, 4-year-olds, which was surprising, but they were so cute in their little costumes. So yes, happy Halloween, and to welcome in the Christmas season, I already got my peppermint hot cocoa from Starbucks in their fancy Christmas cups. That was probably the highlight of my week. Except for some other stuff, which I'll be sharing later. But yeah, I hope you all had a fantastic week, and let's get into some stitchy talk. So I'm gonna start with my finishes, because I've got to finish this week. Although it does come with a bit of an explanation. So I finished a pattern called Tiny Apothecary by Flossie Fox Shop. I have talked about her patterns before. The gamer sampler that I finished a few episodes ago is also her design. This is a Patreon exclusive pattern. She opened a Patreon literally this past week on Tuesday. And one of the patterns that started off this month of November was I guess so she's having a like free pattern every month for the Patreon members, which is a bunch of really cute gaming related stitches. And she said she's gonna throw in a bonus pattern every once in a while. And a few weeks ago on her Instagram, she had asked for pattern suggestions from her followers. And so I just, you know, kind of silly submitted one that was like bees in an apothecary, because, you know, I love bees and I'm an herbalist, so, you know, I was just like, I'll submit that. And so I heard she has a Patreon. I freak out. I sign up for her Patreon, and lo and behold, I see a tiny apothecary pattern with bees in it. And she had taken that suggestion and made a little freebie pattern for the month of November. So this one here, it's very tiny, super cute. Little potion bottles, a cauldron, and some bees. And I finished it. I like freaked out on Tuesday. I kitted it up immediately. And I finished it. And there it is. And it's super cute. So I did this on 28 count Monaco. Just used a scrap of fabric that I had. And then all of the called for DMC. I think it's around 2.5 by 3.5 inches. So relatively small, but it was too cute not to stitch up. I like started it Tuesday night and finished it Wednesday night because it was way too cute. So I think I'm gonna finish it with a 3D printed frame. My husband and I have 5 3D printers. We really like 3D printing. So I'm gonna 3D, well, okay, he's volunteered to design a frame for it. And so he's finishing designing that, and then we'll 3D print it, and I think I'll finish it into the 3D printed frame. And it's going to be similar to this color blue, the light blue in the bubbles. So I'm thinking it will frame that quite nicely, which is fun. So cute. The bees are my favorite. They're just, oh, you can see my back. Don't look at my backing. It's terrible. But the bees are really cute. So, not a huge finish, but it is a finish, and it's cute and makes me happy. So, and y'all should go sub to her Patreon, because her pattern that she put on aside from the bonus pattern, is super cute, and I might start that soon too once I finish up a few other things, because I'm close. I'm like getting close, or at least halfway on some things. So that's other things I worked on. I went to the Acorns and Thread Stitch Night this month, and oh, I lost my needle. Take this one out of the hoop for you, but I worked on the lovely autumn sampler while I was there, because I do have a month before December, which is like official Christmas time, even though I'm already in Christmas party mode. I already bought a bunch of Christmas presents today for people, but I still feel like I can work on fall patterns, you know? So again, this is the lovely, I laminate all of my patterns, which is why sometimes it's hard to show them because they reflect off the light. But this is the lovely autumn sampler. I just got a little bit done on this week. Like I said, I only worked on it at the Acorns and Threads Stitch Night, but here it is. I'm sick of this leaf, so I moved down and got the little patch of mushrooms done, which is one of my favorite parts of the pattern, aside from the jelly, which I know that I've talked about in previous episodes. So yep, the mushrooms are super cute. This is done on 28 count Irish linen by Charles Craft, I believe, and all the called for DMCs, so pretty cute. Again, if I just put a few hours of work into this, it would be finished, because it does not take very long, especially I'm like more than halfway on it. So that was my progress on that guy. The stitch night was lovely. There was only 4 of us there total, but it was fun. Talking to Janine and some of the other ladies there is always wonderful. Janine is the owner of Acorns and Threads, which is my local needlework shop. So I also worked a lot on the Sweet as Can Be stitch from Stitch Rovia. I have it pinned up a lot because I didn't stitch or serge the edges on this, and I really need to, because it's fallen apart a little bit. So since I think last week I had done a lot, or not, I don't remember where I was. I think I had gotten some of the stuff over here, but I basically finished this part of the banner, this back stitching here. I added the words and finished the banner over here. I went all the way over here and got these outlines done and this honeycomb back stitching, and then I started the big hive on this side of the project. So some pretty respectable progress, so I'm happy with that. Oh yeah, and I did a little bit more of the lettering. The lettering is like, it's not hard, but it's a lot of color changes and not easy to jump around with the thread, so I haven't done as much on that, but it's still cute, and I am still enjoying this pattern. It's a fun little stitch, and this honeycomb back stitching is like my favorite, so that was pretty fun. Pardon my lion's mane. Yeah, I worked on that for a few days this week, so that was good. Oh, I guess I should show the actual like full pattern. Yeah, so that's what it will look like. 28 count Monaco and all the called for DMC. I'm not usually a big fan of like 14-28 count, but I guess I've been working on it a lot lately. I've got, you know, like the fall pattern that I just showed you. I've got this pattern, and then I worked the tiny apothecary up on 28 count. I guess I like it, but I am a fan of smaller stitching, so I don't know why I've been stitching on that a lot. I know at least for the B stitch, the final size for if you stitch 2/2 on the 28 count is 10 inches, and I did want it big. I wanted it to have that 10-inch size. So I guess that's a reason why I stitched that one up on that fabric. I'm a little slow. Sorry, guys. I also worked a lot this week, I guess the past 2 weeks, on the hot chocolate recipe from Stitch Rovia. I'm doing this on a 32 count Belfast linen and smoky white. I'll pull this one off the hoop too because I've gotten a lot of progress. My work sent me on a business trip, not this past week, but the week before. It was really unexpected. So it was like Tuesday, I had a work from home day. So I was just sitting there emailing a few people and catching up on some stuff. And all of a sudden, one of the engineers that I work with was like, hey, I realized that, you know, I've got a project to present on that you helped me work on. Do you want to go with me? And so I got approved to go randomly, and she's like, it's on Thursday. And it's Tuesday afternoon, and I'm like, oh boy. So they ended up flying me down to Santa Clara. I can now officially say I've ridden in an Intel jet, which is pretty cool. Can check that off the work bucket list. And I spent the day on Thursday in Santa Clara, but we had about an hour and a half flight both ways because it was just a day trip. It was a really long day. I flew out at 6 a.m. Had to be at we have like a smaller airport, so it wasn't like a huge airport. You have to get there like 2 hours before. I only had to get there about half an hour before takeoff, but yeah, so I got to the airport around 5:30. We took off at 6 and arrived in Santa Clara at 7:30, and then we got back home around 7:30 p.m. It's a really long day. But I had fun. It was exciting to fly to Santa Clara, and I got to stitch on the jet ride there. So here is my progress. This is the one that I brought with me. It's the hot chocolate. Last time I was still finishing up the bottom half of these words with the gradient that she has. So I finished that up, and I did this whole section on the plane ride there and back. So I've got the combine 600 milliliters of whole milk, part of the recipe, and makes 4, which is great. So I think I'm officially halfway through because there's not much stitching. There's a lot of back stitching for the rest of the part down here. And then the only other really cross stitching is there's a mug of hot cocoa right here. So not a lot of actual cross stitching left to do, but there's a lot of back stitching. So that's fun. I'm seriously loving how this is turning out. The colors are just cute. And oh yeah, and it was really fun. The hostess on the jet stopped after she had gotten everyone their snacks and drinks on the morning flight. She came over and she's like, can I ask you a few questions? I was like, yeah, sure. She's like, I've always been interested in cross stitching, but how does it work with the fabric, and is it easy to do? And so I pulled out I guess I showed her, you know, how to stitch. This is the linen, so it was a bad example, but I had a small Ada project with me that I pulled out and showed her as well. I'm like, yeah, you can start out, excuse me, you can start out with this easier fabric that's in it can come in bigger sizes. And she's like, oh, awesome. And we talked about stitching for a little bit, and then, she took off because some other people needed her, but that was fun to talk about stitching with the hostess for a while. She was very sweet. Yeah, so good progress on this recipe. Okay. Definitely got sidetracked by the apothecary stitch after that one. And then the last project I've been working a ton on. Oh, I lost my needle. I didn't lose it. It's just on the other side of my needle minder. Is Cozy Spell Kitchen by, again, Flossie Fox Shop. I'm kind of obsessed with her patterns, if you can't tell. that's the Cozy Spell Kitchen up close. Super cute. Chicken in the window, again, is my favorite part. But I'm officially over halfway through this pattern, according to my stitching app that I use, which is Markup RXP. I would highly recommend to use it if you don't like paper patterns. I don't like paper patterns, and you can really easily import PDFs into it and mark off all of your stuff. So last time I did this one, or showed this off, it looked like this. And I made a ton of progress, and now it looks like this, which is super cute. I am loving how this is turning out. All the bright colors make me so, so happy. So this is like the first page of the pattern right here. And you can see it's pretty much all done, I think, except for like these little parts down here. Sometimes you only need like 2 or 3 stitches for those parts down there, and I just wanted to wait till I got to that color like on this page of the pattern, because it's, you know, sometimes I just don't want to do 3 stitches and then change the color again. So other than that, that side is pretty much done, and it's so freaking cute. Oh my goodness. There's a little bit of back stitching to do on the kitty that I haven't done yet, but oh my word, it is so cute. So yeah, I'm getting started on the second page of the pattern here, and then there's just a little tiny bit left. Or no, there's an entire third page, and then, no? There's 1.5 more pages left. Yeah, okay. So this is like almost 2/3 of the way through the pattern, because the second page goes to about over here. So I'm 1.5 pages through. I have 1.5 left to go. Yeah, but I'm really enjoying this pattern, and I love her stuff, which leads right into a start that I started, because Andrea is the name of the lady who runs Flossy Fox shop. I believe she lives in the Pacific Northwest, somewhere close to me, actually. I haven't looked it up, but yeah, she released another one of those little room one, like the Spell Kitchen. She has a whole series of them that are just little rooms. She has like the Necromancer's Bedroom, which is like a Halloween themed one. She has a Cozy Spell Living Room, which is super cute, like couches and a fireplace and bookshelves and stuff. And she just released, literally Wednesday or Thursday, the Cozy Witchy Christmas, which is so cute. Oh my word. So we've, got the wood stove, we've got the little tree, she's got a little Venus flytrap there, which I think is adorable. Or, yeah, no, it is a Venus flytrap. And then, her broom hanging up and some other fun little things. But the kitties playing with the presents. Here, I'll make that a little closer. So cute. There's like one on the rug. There's one pawing at one of the presents. There's one jumping out from behind the presents. And then there's 3 more in the window. Super cute. Oh my gosh. So I got this one. And I started it as well, because who can say no to that? It's just too cute. And I haven't gotten very far, but I got the edge of the border, you guys. That's good. I've got all the fabric cut out, and it's just 2 lines of border. So progress is progress. And it's a cute Christmas pattern that I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish by Christmas. So yeah, super cute. I also wanted to share with you guys, we were at my husband's grandparents' house with the rest of his family, and this was not this week but last week, and I hadn't been there since I guess I've been there since I started cross stitching, but not very attentively, I guess. I don't know. But I saw cross stitch that looked really old on the wall, and I asked Grandma Tenike, that's my husband's grandmother. I was like, oh, do you know who did that? And she said, oh yeah, it was my, gosh, I'm like blanking on it right now. I think it was her, it's my husband's second great grandmother. So that would have been his grandmother's grandmother. And she's like, yeah, it was my grandmother who did it when she was 7 years old. I took a picture of it here. And wow, like there's a picture on, or there's a sticker on the back of it as well that says her name. I've been getting into ancestry stuff, so I was able to, I have my husband's family tree mapped out of a few generations, because there's a lot of information. A lot of his ancestors did the whole Oregon Trail thing and owned a ton of the land over there in Sandy. And she was one of them who went on the Oregon Trail. And I'll put a picture of her here. This was her when she was 7 years old. She stitched that cross stitch. I think it's just lovely. I did some searching on Google and I couldn't find the original pattern. I couldn't find like if there were any rights to it, so I'm thinking of recharting it to see, just because it's cute and old-timey and adorable. And yeah, I just think it's really cool that I've been able to find this stitch and a picture of the lady who stitched it. It's some really cool history to know that like this is a family heirloom type deal. It's kind of, it's like, you know, you go to the thrift store and you can buy an old piece, but this one has actually been passed down in the family, which is kind of amazing. So I thought I would share that as well, which is fascinating. And I guess I wanted to mention books and that I've been listening to and reading, and some Flosstubers that I always enjoy watching. My husband and I have been listening to the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson together. It's a series of like epic high fantasy books. Oh, sorry, my water bottles fell over. But we just finished the first book in the Stormlight Archive series tonight, like 30 minutes ago. And that has been highly, highly enjoyable. If you enjoy stories like Lord of the Rings that are large, large stories with lots of world building, lots of character building, he does a marvelous job weaving multiple stories together. Highly recommend that book. Again, we've only read the first one and there's 4 or 5 more. There's like 3 more large main books, and then there are 2 little novellas popped in there too. And then he's writing the 5th large book right now. So anyway, that's a great series. I've also been listening to the Fellowship of the Ring audiobook. I've never actually finished the Lord of the Rings book series, even though I'm a huge fan of the movies and stuff. So I'm hoping to read through that entirely. Maybe that'll give me more inspiration to work on my Hobbit stitch, because I did not work on that the past 2 weeks. And I've been watching the Hobbit movies again too, so that's been fun. As far as Flosstubers go, I've been watching stitchandchill. I mentioned her last week, she's super fun. I've also been watching Just Keep Stitchin', Pam and Steph. I know they just got back from their Utah Stitch West retreat, which looked so much fun. And they put out like 2 huge videos, and that took up most of my Flosstube time. So those are the only 2 Flosstubers I've watched in the past 2 weeks. So yeah, but if you haven't checked out those stitchers, you should go check them out, give them some love. I know that, oh, I forgot her name. I think it's Kelsey Kelsey at Stitchandchill. She started streaming on Twitch, and so I tuned into one of her streams where she just stitches and talks to you on Twitch. I'll link both her YouTube channel and her Twitch channel below in case you're into that sort of thing. So again, super fun. Thank you all for joining me this week. I know it's a shorter video, but I just got a lot of stitching done and not too much to talk about. So, oh my word, I also forgot the question of the week again. Oh, this is what happens when it's the end of the day on Saturday. But I guess I will ask, what is your favorite Christmas dessert? I think mine is, oh, I do love a good peppermint hot chocolate, but I feel like I have it so much that it can't be a dessert. Oh, okay. No, I do have a favorite, and it's, my family has a, like, special family recipe that my mom got from one of her friends whose grandmother had a chocolate shop in France. And it is a hot fudge sauce recipe, and we only, like traditionally, we only make it around Christmas time. And it's called Black Hawk Hot Fudge Sauce. And it's so good. I'm really looking forward to making that this year. Yeah, thank you all for watching this week's Flosstube. Happy stitching and happy holidays.